Part 1. The Ancient Legend. Once, in the distant kingdom of Historia, there was a legend about a mighty dragon named Zargus. This dragon was one of the last of his kind and lived in Mount Morar, which towered high above the forests and valleys. Mount Morar was surrounded by thick mists, and anyone who ventured near it never returned. People believed that Zargus guarded immense treasures hidden deep within the mountain, and that he could destroy anyone who dared to steal even a single coin. In the village of Castleton, located at the foot of the mountain, lived a girl named Lyanna. She was the daughter of the local blacksmith and had heard stories about the dragon and his countless treasures since childhood. But Lyanna was different from the other villagers in that she did not fear the legends. She always felt that the dragon was not as terrifying as the tales made him out to be. Instead of fear, she had a sense that the dragon Zargus was hiding some kind of secret. One day, the kingdom announced that whoever could defeat the dragon and bring the king part of his treasure would be rewarded with half of the wealth and the hand of Princess Elise. This announcement drew many brave souls from all corners of the kingdom, but none returned from the mountain. Lyanna decided that her time had come. She knew that her chances of success in a battle with the dragon were slim, but she believed in something else, the power of words and wisdom. She decided to venture to the mountain not with a sword, but with an ancient book of legends that she found in her grandfather's library. This book contained references to dragons, their customs, and their weaknesses. Part 2. The journey to Mount Morar. Early in the morning, after a long night of contemplation, Lyanna said goodbye to her father and set out on her journey. She knew that her decision was dangerous, but she felt that this journey was important not only for her, but for the entire kingdom. Lyanna followed the roads that led to the foot of the mountain, making her way through dense forests and crossing rivers. On the third day of her journey, she reached an ancient bridge, which, according to legends, was the only way to the mountain. The bridge was old and rickety, but Lyanna carefully crossed it, feeling the wooden planks sway beneath her feet. On the other side, she was met by a cold wind and a thick wall of mist that completely enveloped the mountain. After walking a little further, Lyanna suddenly saw a huge footprint on the ground. It was the footprint of a dragon. It was so large that Lyanna could easily place her foot inside the imprint. The sight took her breath away, but she did not retreat and decided to press on. When the mist became so thick that she could barely see, Lyanna suddenly heard a loud hissing sound. She froze in place but felt no fear, only curiosity. From the mist, a huge shadow slowly emerged, and before her appeared the dragon Zargus. His scales glimmered in the mist, and his eyes glowed with a bright green fire. The dragon was enormous, but his gaze was not evil, it was more inquisitive. Part 3. The Encounter with the Dragon. "Who are you that dares to come here?" rumbled Zargus's voice, causing the ground beneath Lyanna's feet to tremble. "I am Lyanna, daughter of the blacksmith from Castleton," she replied, trying not to show fear. "I've come not to take your treasures or fight you, but to learn the truth about you." The dragon tilted his head in surprise and looked at her intently. He was not used to people coming to him without weapons and aggression. "Why are you not afraid of me?" he asked after a pause. Lyanna sighed and answered, "I've heard many stories about you, but none of them explain why you guard this mountain and why everyone who comes here disappears. I believe there's more to you than just greed or rage." Zargus watched Lyanna closely, and then suddenly stepped back a few paces and revealed a vast cave behind him. Lyanna saw that the dragon was inviting her inside. She realized that she had been given the opportunity to learn the truth, and without hesitation, followed him. Part 4. The Secrets of Mount Morar. The cave that Zargus led Lyanna into was enormous and dark. The walls flickered with lights that resembled stars. The dragon guided her through a series of underground passages until they reached a large chamber where, in the center, lay an ancient stone surrounded by gold coins, jewels, and ancient artifacts. "Is this your treasure?" Lyanna asked in amazement. "No," the dragon replied. The true treasure lies much deeper. But first, you must understand why I guard this stone." Zargus began to tell Lyanna a story she had never heard before. Long ago, when dragons still ruled the earth, this stone was the source of their magic. It granted them strength and wisdom, but was also the source of great danger. The stone could awaken the darkest desires and lust for power in any creature's heart. Zargus was chosen to guard the stone after the dragons realized its danger. His task was to ensure that the stone never fell into the wrong hands. All who came to the mountain with greed or malice in their hearts were destroyed by the stone's magic, and their souls became part of the treasures that now lay around. "Why did you show this to me?" Lyanna asked when the dragon finished his story. "Because you came here with no ill intent," Zargus replied. "You are the first who does not seek to possess the stone or the treasures, and that is why you deserve to learn the true secret of this stone." Part 5. The Choice. Zargus explained to Lyanna that the stone could be a source of great power or a destructive threat. But only a pure heart could use it for good. He offered Lyanna a choice. Either she could leave the stone in the mountain, where it would remain protected forever, or she could attempt to find a way to use its power to save the kingdom from the threats that loomed. Lyanna understood that the choice was not easy. She knew that the stone could help the kingdom, but she also knew that the slightest mistake could lead to disaster. After much deliberation, she decided that she could not risk the future of the kingdom. "I will leave the stone here," Lyanna said. "It is too dangerous to use." Zargus nodded in approval. He knew this was the right decision. "You are wise, Lyanna," said the dragon. "And for that, I wish to give you a gift." The dragon raised his paw and led Lyanna to a small chest hidden among the treasures. Inside was an ancient artifact, an amulet that once belonged to the most powerful of dragons. This amulet granted its bearer the power to understand the language of all creatures and to heal wounds. "This amulet will aid you in your life," said Zargus. "But remember that with great power comes great responsibility." Part 6. The return home. Lyanna returned to her village, not with treasures, but with the wisdom and gift she received from Zargus. She decided to keep the secret of Mount Morah and not tell anyone about the true nature of the stone. Instead, she used the amulet to help the people in her village, and soon she became known as a wise healer. Over the years, Lyanna passed on the knowledge she gained from Zargus to her children and grandchildren. She always remembered the choice she made and the responsibility she bore for keeping peace in her kingdom. And Mount Morah remained shrouded in mist, hiding the secret known only to Lyanna and the dragon Zargus. And though no one dared to approach the mountain again, the legend of the mighty dragon and his treasures continued to live on, passed down from generation to generation. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to see more histories.